Gateway Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 34th episode of the Gateway Podcast. It's two English podcasts in a row now. Jesus Christ, what the hell is happening to the podcast? Anywho, for those who don't know, the Gateway Podcast is a one-on-one podcast where I get to learn more about the guest's journey with StarCraft. Normally, I prepare a couple questions in advance to help me and the listeners get to know our guest, but not today, as today I have another special guest with me since I've known him since the beginning of my StarCraft journey. It's more or less going to be a free-flow conversation. As always, I'm your host, Necro, and my guest today is going to be my longtime friend, and to this day, still hasn't given me my yellow card. It's SYNergist, aka Zen, aka Lazy Days. What's going on, my guy?
What's up? Glad to be here. Wow.
Awesome.
I haven't heard those names in a while.
Indeed,
For
yeah. Well, the first ones I remember was, I think the first one I heard was Lazy Days, right? Well, that's the
Yeah.
idea I first met you in StarCraft with.
Yeah, so that was my IGN for another game that I was playing.
Oh, what was that
Back
actually?
before playing StarCraft, so CS. I was playing a lot of Counter-Strike.
Oh.
Counter-Strike Source,
Yeah.
1.6,
Mhm.
and yeah. Those are the two games I played a lot
Mm.
before I transitioned to the StarCraft.
Yeah. But then in StarCraft, you
Yeah.
like changed twice. You changed to Zen and then Synergist. What made you go away from Lazy Days?
Laser Days, I don't know. I just kind of experimented with a bunch of names, and
Mm.
there's actually kind of a reason why, like, my name changes to SYNergist. It's actually because I was playing a lot of 2v2s with Nick Boss, which is
Yeah.
one of our friends,
Yeah.
and basically we would play so many 2v2s that at a point we didn't even need to talk to each other anymore. We just knew exactly what
Mm.
each other were gonna do. Like, he knows I play really aggressive. He likes to play more defensive. So he would just let me play how I want to play, and then he'll always back me up.
That's true. You guys
And it's
actually,
also the same thing.
you guys got like pretty high in the Masters ladder, didn't you? Actually.
So we got up to top 8 in Masters
Oh
in 2v2s.
my God, Jesus.
At the top
Yeah.
500? Yes.
Yeah.
Back then. That's in Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, that's true. I actually
Yeah.
forgot that you both play like a lot. And honestly, I've talked to people who still do team games today, and there's still metas that are still here. Like mass Hellion Zergling is still the thing.
Oh, yeah.
It is still a huge fucking threat early game. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's kind of
'Cause
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably why I transitioned to that name, because I remember, because I had 2 accounts, right? Lazy Days, and then SYNergist is where I mainly play my 2v2s, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I think that's a fitting name for, like,
For a team partner. Right?
yeah, for a team, account, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What was there was like a middle period. It was maybe Heart of the Swarm where you were called Zen. How did that happen?
listen. Oh, it's because I
Is this an alt account?
got a third, another alt account at
Okay,
that
okay,
point.
okay.
Like, I had like so many alt accounts. StarCraft, I played so much of it,
Mm.
right? We used to play so much of it. It was mind-boggling how both of us were still at school and playing
True.
by the mod we were playing.
True.
But yeah, Zen was just kind of like an alternative, and
Yeah.
I'm a Zen person in real life, so
True.
it kind of makes sense
True.
to go along with these names. So all my names kind of have like some sort of like thing that I've done, or like it's expression of something that I wanted to show.
Yeah.
through the
There's I feel like there's a very thin line between Zen and Lazy Days.
Oh, Lazy Days, yeah, that was
There's a thin
Uh,
line there, but
yeah. It's just for no reason. Lazy Days is just because I used to play competitive CS and Counter Strike
Mhm.
at that point, and basically there were like days where we needed to scrim.
Mhm.
We had scrim matches, so we had to set up like 5 players on our side and 5 players on the other side. But there was days that were just like so long, just waiting for everyone to get online and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I was just like sleep while we're waiting for
damn.
the matches to kind of like set up, right?
Alright,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
So yeah, just like small anecdotes for each of the
Mm.
names.
what names do you use nowadays? Are you still sticking to any of these names in other games or?
Mostly SYNergist, because I'm like, usually that's the name where no one like took it already.
True.
So SYNergist there, and usually some sort of duck related name as well.
Fair
Like,
enough.
I played Lee, I was like playing Aki Ducky or something like that.
All right.
I like ducks. They're just
What?
funny.
Since when do you like ducks? I've known you for so long.
Oh, because a funny story is like program. I mean, so there's like a story with programmers, right?
Mhm.
So programmers has a story with the rubber duck, right? The idea of like rubber duck is that you uh so if you have like a hard problem that you can't solve and stuff like that,
Mhm.
what you want to do is you kind of want to have a rubber duck on your desk, and you want to talk to it. You want to talk to it. You want to explain it,
Mhm.
the different the problem, the problem, what kind of solution you're trying to approach it
Mhm.
to this problem, and like how you want to like solve it, right? And
Yeah.
then as you're talking to the rubber duck, you start realizing, oh, you might have made a mistake
Yeah.
somewhere in the process of doing the solution.
Yep.
So that's kind of just like a way for you to like really internalize, like, did you do exactly what you actually say to the rubber duck,
Mhm.
or but like rubber duck is just something that you can use. You can use someone else like for one-on-one or
Yep.
something, another inanimate object, but
This
for programmers,
I was gonna say
it's
this
mostly
kind of reminds me of like when you explain. Well, it's like you know something really well when you can explain it to a 6-year-old. But like who in their right mind would talk coding to a 6-year-old, right? So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
exactly.
you
But
just
that's
need an inanimate object. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just because
yeah,
nobody's
so
gonna
that's
listen to you do this.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You'll just bore them out of their mind, just waste their time, right?
Yeah.
So you want to talk to an inanimate object. If you feel uh, like it's not progressing well, then you can talk to an actual human,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the analogy for the 6-year-old is actually a different analogy. It's that, do you actually understand
Yeah.
what I mean, like the subject that you're trying to
For sure. For
like
sure.
teach or something, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like similar, but not similar in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
that way.
Well, just saying it out loud just kind of like it means you're able to formulate it in a way. And if you can, like, then you start to like realize what's wrong and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's like a kind of like you get trapped if you kind of just think in your head for like 3 or 4 hours at a time, and then
Mhm.
like you're not actually speaking up and trying to like go slower,
Mhm.
like a slower pace, right? Because usually when you're thinking much quicker than if you're actually talking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and explaining
Exactly.
the kind of situation. So yeah, so another anecdote to my name,
Yeah.
ducks.
It's another way to break it down. Um,
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about like how we sort of I don't even know like how we met or like when we started StarCraft. So there was a thing that I would do. Okay, so first of all, for those who are listening, we basically met
Oh, sorry, you cut off
in
for like a second. You
oh
said
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So if
hello.
it cuts off for you, um, wait, can you still hear me right now? Hello?
Oh, oh, hello. Okay, it just cut off for like a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's maybe just Discord. Because I can see
Yeah.
myself. I still have sound. So basically, yeah. So I just wanted to talk about like how we sort of met. So basically, we met in high
High
school.
school.
Yeah, high school
Yeah.
is what we would call it, I guess, because here it's called secondary school or whatever. Um,
But yeah, it's still high school,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
And
for everyone else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Synergist was 1 year older than me, and actually for a long time, we literally took the same bus home, but I had like no idea, like who you were. And no joke, sometimes because you would like walk straight to the dep where you work basically, and I would always like stop before you. And honestly, there's sometimes where I thought, huh, we got off the same bus for like 4 years basically, and I'll never have talked to this guy. And then turns out we actually did start talking.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
there's one of the things that I used to do. I don't know if you did this as well, but like, remember we had like extracurricular like activities after school, like 3 to 4,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would
I
actually
remember.
I would bring a USB key with like Brood War and Warcraft 3 on it, and then I was desperately trying to make it work and just play in secret because like I didn't want to go to do anything else. Did you ever like bring games or anything to like the 3 to 4s or?
Yeah. So I used to try to pick up. So we had like Halo in our USB key.
You had Halo use? That's so lost.
CE, like
Jeez.
combat ball. So I had like a bunch of my group of friends that also like um extracurricular activity, because yeah, in
Yeah.
our high school we couldn't leave school after classes are done. We actually have like an hour where we do random activities, like you could do physical, you can go library, or you can do what we did was
Yeah.
we go to the IT lab and then we just
Yeah.
play with computers all day. And obviously we had like restrictions, right? We can play games.
Yeah.
We had to be productive.
Productive with
Quotation.
what though? I was like thinking like, okay, so the restrictions are you can't do anything. You can go on you're allowed to go on Paint and Word maybe. Like those
Hey,
were the
you
things
gotta
that were
practice
allowed.
your typing, man.
Oh
There was
my
like a typing
god.
program.
Oh yeah, there was a typing game they made us do and it's like, my fucking
Yeah,
lord.
exactly. So basically, you wanna
Yeah.
have that, or you could do like real light programming,
Yeah.
which is like HTML or like some CSS or whatever.
Yeah.
Like basically, you could use that IT time to just do like homework and stuff like that. Which at some point I started doing it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I freed up an hour of my time after school to play more games.
But it was
By doing
tempting.
that.
It was tempting to go at the back, get our USB on, and play some fucking video games for an hour. Holy heck.
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Brood War
Um.
working. I never got Warcraft 3 working because it requires like local area
Like,
network because I wanted to play
yeah.
with a friend, but so that didn't quite work out. But
Yeah.
we played Brood War versus AI basically.
I remember. Yeah, but the prof was really chill though. Like he knew us. Like he was like, oh, these guys, 4 or 5 years
You maybe,
Yeah.
because you pretty chill. I think he didn't allow me too much. He's like, oh, you guys are not supposed to be doing that. Turn it off. It's like, yeah,
Uh,
I got caught. Yeah, I got caught with Warcraft 3, not Brood War.
Oh, I know. I got caught all the time. It was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's because like
Yeah,
we also had classes with this professor, right?
yeah,
At some point in like our curriculum, and it's like we always did super well in his class anyway. So it's like for him, it's like, yeah, whatever. These guys can type and can use Paint,
mm,
whatever. Just let them play games and stuff. So we did definitely play a lot of Halo, a lot of Minecraft, and then he kind of accepted Minecraft as like a general game people could play, right?
okay, yeah.
So that was something that at the end when Minecraft kind of started becoming
Mm.
popular back then.
But
I
it's
was like,
funny
oh my
because
god.
I'm not even sure how we got into contact in the first place because I think
Hmm.
I got into StarCraft 2 with Boss back in the day, and someone told me you also played, but I don't think I've ever like known you like directly. I'm not even sure how we
Okay.
started talking in the first
Oh,
place. Do you remember? Or
I kind of remember it was kind of a weird interaction between the two of us. It's again in the IT lab, and basically I was hanging out with my friends. We were doing whatever
yeah,
in the labs, and then like you came up to me and it's like, hey, do you play StarCraft? I'm like, yeah. It was out of the blue, right? Like I didn't even know who you were at that
yeah.
point. But I don't know how you knew I played StarCraft
I
back
think
then. But I was like, yeah, you.
someone told me, someone from your group of friends told me, it's like, oh, by the way, this guy is like a mastered StarCraft or whatever. It was like Diamond or back in the day because I don't think Masters existed.
No, it
But
was Diamond back in the days. I
yeah.
remember.
It was still Diamond, yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, you came up to me and so just like say hi. I was like, hey, I was like, do you play StarCraft? Like, yeah, I do play StarCraft. Cool. Here's my IGN, and
Yeah,
it's like, oh, if you want to play some games together, then we can play some.
yeah.
And back in the day, my group of friends, we played. A lot of my friends played StarCraft back then because that was the game
Mhm.
for like the high schoolers. Like everyone
Oh
was
yeah.
playing it,
I
right?
mean, it was 2010, right? It was the hot
Oh,
shit.
was it? Oh, holy crap! It was 10 years ago. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was when I was about 14, 15.
yeah. I was
Uh,
I think you were close to 15. Maybe it was like I got the game a little bit later into the 2010s. Like I think I was just got 15. You must have been maybe sorry, I just got 14. You might
yeah,
have been
so
15.
I
I'm
should
not
be
sure, but
15
yeah.
because yeah, I remember when that game announced. I was like, okay, me and my friends, we dropped everything and we wanted
Mhm.
to play that game because uh, we saw like all the ads and all like the trailers and stuff. We were like so excited for it. I was like, oh my god, this is the game that we ever want to play.
Hell yeah.
And so yeah, I dropped playing CS back then and then started playing StarCraft and I got hooked into it.
Mm.
But yeah, that's yeah, it
Just
was
before
really
I was gonna say just
yeah.
before we go into like how we started together, did you play like Brood War? What was your past experience with StarCraft before that point? Like,
Actually I did. I played only a little bit of Brood War like as a kid. Like
mhm,
it was kind of like a casual kind of game. But I did play a lot of Warcraft 3. I was pretty good back then.
mhm.
Maybe not like pro level, but I was like usually in Warcraft 3 there was 4 races. I used to play Orc back then,
True, yeah, you
and
kept telling me like, dude, Blade Master is OP
oh
as
yeah,
fuck.
yeah, because no
In
one
the
knew how to
studio.
play that game back
Yeah.
then, and yeah, I played Orc. I picked up Blade Master. almost all the time, and also the Farseer guy, the guy that can summon wolves and stuff,
Yeah.
and then just go rampage on people. And yeah, I had like that was like when I was like 13 back then when I played
Mm.
Warcraft 3. Oh, like I had a pretty good win rate. Like
Yeah. I
I
kind
don't
of
know exact numbers, but I remember playing with a bunch of like guild mates and like, oh, who's gonna be the leader? And then these guys were a bunch of 16 to 18-year-old like guys playing, and then I'm like this 13-year-old kid playing to become the guild, or what's it called, the clan leader or whatever.
mm.
And then we would have like a best of 5 between us like just to get through, and then like at the end I won. And then that's when StarCraft like I kind of stopped playing. I was like, oh, I became the clan leader as like a 13-year-old.
Oh, you
Now
actually did
what
it.
do I do? Yeah,
Oh
I
shit.
won. Like I told you, Blade Master pretty OP.
Oh, dude, it's broken as fuck.
Yeah, it's more annoying. It's the kind of style that I like to play. I like to piss people off
mm.
playing really aggressive, right? So,
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I kind of asked that because you got. I feel like you got Diamond the first season it kind of came out, right? Are you like pretty fast? Like you were good at StarCraft like really fast. I was like curious like what you played before and like how long you played it too.
yeah, so I played like Warcraft 3 for like a year or something, and like it's because I played so many games back then. I also played like CS competitively when I was like 13, 14, right? And
Yeah.
so like picking up a new game wasn't too difficult for me. Like I had the mechanical skill back then,
hmm
and like yeah, mechanical skills. Like I know how to like play for a long amount of hours and just keep
Yeah.
practicing, right? Like that's not something that was unknown to me back then.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean
So yeah,
CS:GO
like
is also like a fast-paced game, right, as well, right? So
oh yeah, it was all
it's not
reflection.
like you were
Yeah.
playing fucking Roller Coaster Tycoon and being really slow. Like, you were already
Hey,
like used to like speedy games in general, so
what do you
it
mean?
doesn't matter.
Roller Coaster Tycoons is the game of macros. Okay? You gotta build the
True.
correct buildings with the correct amount of money.
Uh,
Optimize your roller coasters. Come on, man.
yeah.
Get this on my
Listen,
Tycoon game.
Roller Coaster Tycoon is nothing compared to Game Dev Tycoon.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, you're terrible at it.
Dude, I was terrible at it, but I
No, you were doing good until you started the actual like, oh, taking care of your
my employees, yeah, no, that didn't
employees.
happen.
I was,
Dude, I didn't
uh,
know there was a vacation button. It's not my fault, okay? It was like a super small
yeah,
button. Hey, take vacation. I was like, nah,
that's
you
what all the CEO says.
know, no vacations.
I
I think
I
they worked
kid.
straight for
Yeah.
4 years straight. They had no vacation.
Oh yeah, you burn them to the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anywho, um, so yeah, so okay, let's get it. Let's go back into like the like when we started playing StarCraft. So yeah, so when I approached you, I'm pretty sure you were already diamond. I was pretty much just bronze silver, trying to get like my
Uh-huh.
medium versus medium AI. And I do remember like we got into some like games with people on Skype maybe or something like that back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, back then it was Skype and what's it called? The other one,
TeamSpeak,
Ventrilo.
oh Ventrilo. I've never been on that one though.
Oh man, those
Yeah.
are the two first. So Ventrilo, it was like kind of like the pre-Discord Discord, right? Where
Mm,
you can have channels and stuff, but you have to pay for the server.
mm-hmm.
And Skype was just free peer-to-peer where you can just call each other, right? And so, as you know, high schoolers, we had no money, so
Yeah.
Skype was the only option we had
Yeah.
back then.
So I have two vivid memories from then. Okay, I don't know why these ones stick out, but I remember this like clear as day, like yesterday. So there was our first game against each other. You wanted to see how I played. So you played Protoss, I played Zerg, and we spawned on Zelnaga Caverns. And what you did is that you won Stargate. You made a Phoenix, and then you scouted me. And then the first thing you told me is like, dude, you need more drones, because
Did I really?
oh yeah, I remember this vividly. I had one base. I had made an expansion. I was like, oh yeah, I'm expanding, right? But I had like not even full saturation on one base, and I had two drones at my natural. And it's like, dude, you need more drones. I remember that comment so clearly. And the other thing I remember is us spawning on Desert Oasis, and I was playing one of your friends, and you were all like spectating the game. And I did a one base Mutalisk rush, but I was supply blocked, and it was basically a one Mutalisk attack. I'm not even joking. I attacked with one muta. It was so stupid. I can't even believe it.
Oh my lord, I did not remember that. I might have blocked those memories.
Oh, maybe. But that was
Maybe.
that was too hilarious because I remember because everyone like fucking burst out laughing, dude. This is the one Mutalisk attack. Like it was so bad.
My God. I definitely don't remember this. Like I.
Mm,
But now I'm kind of thinking, it's like, oh yeah, there's been some times where there was some odd like
mm.
scenarios when you guys were playing, or just in general like video games. But yeah, that I didn't know my comment about you making needing more drone was like
Oh, I remember that.
groundbreaking. Like you thought about every night kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about it every night. It just marked me because that was so like the basis of StarCraft that I just didn't get. You know, just you need more drones, and it's kind of like that. Kind of like summarizes what StarCraft is in a way. So it just
Yeah,
I
pretty
remember
much.
that line just stuck with me as like that's the literally the first advice anyone has ever given me in StarCraft 2. And it's you just
Oh,
flying a phoenix and you just going, dude, you need more drones.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember being higher ranked than you, and you were just starting off at some point, right? Um, like
yeah.
you're either like bronze or silver, or whatever those rank were.
Yeah, I think I got up to
But then
silver
you
pretty
started.
fast, but I was in bronze for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was also maybe another game. I don't know if this was versus me or me watching you do this, but I think you walked in with a bajillion High Templar and you stormed all my larva and then you left.
I did a lot of stupid shit back then. Like I just knew I was
Yeah,
better.
it was pretty trolly. It was pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It was no hard, no like uh it wasn't to be like a troll, and it was just like well,
no, no,
it was kind of guaranteed
I didn't take it
lose.
personally at all, to be honest.
That's
But
good.
yeah, I also learned from that game that storm does not damage buildings. Haha.
Yeah,
So fair
nice.
enough. Fair enough.
Um,
When did you choose Zerg? Were you always Zerg from the beginning, or?
I started with Zerg pretty much in the beginning, yeah.
Mm,
I kind of played all three of them just to like had a feel, but Zerg just kind of like caught on to me. Like
yeah.
for me, it's like when I saw that little Zergling like hopping on the field, I was like, oh boy, you're coming with me.
Let's go on an
And then
adventure, little puppy boy. It's a little
I built a
Zerg
little
dogo.
Zerg house, a Zerg puppy house.
Oh my god, yeah.
So
Fair
yeah,
enough, yeah.
did some little tricks with it, and it started to do metal lock and boost,
Mm,
and yeah,
what
here it
about
goes.
the rest is history.
Yeah.
I remember. So you did this comment in the documentary, but like it's like you hate humans and you love bugs, but really, just in general, do you just not like going for the human race in like any other game generally when you play, or
I'm
when it's like a
generating
fancy
other
setting?
game. Uh, yeah, cause like usually I like to play like more fantasy games or
Mm,
fancy art adventure game, and it's like
mm,
humans were kind of basic people, right? We're just like
mm.
you know, why do I want to like play as a human where I can play like I don't know like a freaking dragon or like a little dwarf or whatever,
Yeah.
um, or like some elf or whatever. It's like those are the only choices that like would make kind of more sense for me in a fantasy world. It's
Mm,
like maybe it's because I also don't like isekai kind of shows like where like humans teleports into like this fantasy world and
yeah.
starts dominating and stuff like that. And it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not as fun. It's just too like humans is just basic. It's like the middle line, right? It's like
Mm.
all right,
Well, it's either
it's
like
the average.
it's either like I don't want to be like a human because like that's kind of boring because I'm already literally a human in real life. But I'm
Exactly.
guessing like the flip fantasy is like you choose human because you want that fantasy of human versus the world kind of thing.
It's more
Maybe.
like people that usually pick human race. They just want to project themselves into that
Yeah.
like setting.
And then it's like or that or the literally the opposite is like I don't want to project myself. It's like that's
Yeah, so that's
why.
me. Like I don't want to be human. I want to be like a big old like tiger daddy or something. Something
What the
crazy.
fuck?
I was playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, and
Yeah.
they kind of released these big tiger dudes.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I picked one of them.
Hell yeah. Did you ever play like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, or like Diablo
Uh,
maybe?
I played some Diablo 2, Diablo 3. That
Hmm.
was actually the game that came out after StarCraft.
Hmm.
So while like I was playing StarCraft, I was also playing Diablo 3 back then. So yeah, I definitely picked like the more unusual race, and yeah, and WoW I played a little bit of it too. Not as intense as Final Fantasy 14 or anything, but
Hmm.
yeah, like I remember picking the big cow dude.
Hmm.
because it's so funny looking. I call him Moo Moo. I was like, ah, this is perfect.
This is perfect. Goddamn.
So yeah, like yeah, I don't like picking human
Yeah.
races, and so
It's
Terran for me was just like already a no for me,
yeah. And
and then it was kind of like,
it's
yeah,
kind of like also whenever you pick human, they all happen to be like fucking Caucasian guys. Like
yeah,
there's no
where's
you
the
can't
yellow
yeah.
representation
Yeah,
here?
you can't like have a Asian human or a black human. It's always like
Yeah,
you're a white dude. You can put your skin color down or whatever, but that's pretty much the most you can do.
really?
Um,
Wait, is all the StarCraft 2 humans like Caucasian?
uh, yes. No,
Yeah. Oh well.
that's not true. That's not. There's some characters in the campaign that are that are black. I think one of the guys on the Hyperion Bridge is black,
Yeah, but I
but
mean like the units. Like I don't
units,
remember the units
no,
being.
no. Some of them are European because like the Thor is like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so like Austrian slash German. But
Yeah.
there's no Asians, no black people. There's no like
Okay, no people of color.
no
Okay,
people of
no.
color. Yeah, there's no Latinos either. So it's literally just white
Okay.
peeps.
So I don't want to go into the race part of the game, but no, I did not choose terrorists
Yeah,
because
basically.
there was no people of my color. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just in general high fantasy game.
yeah,
Don't want to pick Terran. So kind of the choice was like Protoss and Zerg, right? And
yeah.
it's like
Zerg has
Protoss were
Zerglings.
really cool, but I kind of like the Zerg little bugs.
Yeah,
Like at least for me, the Zergling and the Mulus were like, I thought they were so cool
yeah.
and so fun to use. So
Mm,
that's why I kind of picked them.
yeah. So you were pretty much as soon as Diamond was out, you're already Diamond. Kind of Masters when Masters came out, you went Masters as well. Do you remember like any even though this might be a while ago, do you remember any like games that kind of stand out in your memory as being extremely awesome or extremely bullshit or something like that? Or
My God, that was when I was grinding so many games per day. It was like what I could have been playing like 12 or 14 matches a day with school, right, and
mm,
stuff. So I never slept. Um, but yeah, I got really diamond really, really quick. But back then, like no one knew how to strategize, and
mm,
like that's when people started building openers and stuff like that, right?
mm,
Um, and I kind of had my own opener that I figured out how to use and kind of exploited. Which is build a lot of drones and then get so much money that it doesn't matter what you do.
yeah.
Um, so
Fair
that
enough.
was kind of how I played, and then I kind of transitioned into a masters when I think it was season 2 when it came out with it.
Mm,
Like I got into high masters really um, quite easily, I would say, and I kind of kept that rank throughout the entire season. But
mm.
in terms of games, I don't have any particular games of wow, how how did I manage to win this? Like it was just
Mm.
kind of like a mix of like everything. Like it could be just
What
luck
is
or it
the
could be
I guess maybe a kind of different way to phrase that question is like is there any strat maybe back then or they just thought was like impossible to beat or like any play style or was like was there
um
anything that like kind of I don't know stood out there?
oh, the playstyle I loved the most was back then Night Swarm was not utilized ever.
Mm.
And so I kind of was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to use was Night Swarm? Night
Yeah, that
Swarm,
is one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Night Swarm to like bring banelings and like roaches into like spots where they couldn't find out and use the overload like unloading and loading.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would do a lot of like 2 3 prawns attack from like different sides. And people back then didn't realize like Night Swarm how they worked
Yeah.
and really underutilized it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back then it wasn't as good,
Mm.
but I still was able to exploit it. And like I won a lot of games where I just mass attacked them from every corner and every side, like from their main base, from their like natural, and from like their third base.
Mm.
It's because no one noticed, like, oh, no one uses Overlord like unloading for banelings, dropping into the mineral lines, and using Nidus Worm to like start just like engaging fights and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and just basically breaking the army apart.
Yep.
So I think that was kind of like the the shot that I loved the most.
And
Like I just
I was gonna say like I remember like the maps too. Like every single base. First of all, you if you were lucky, you had 4 bases on your side of the map. Like for the whole map, they were so small. But at the same time, all the bases were pretty like very far apart. and it was just not a lot of bases in general. It's like just doing multi-pronged dices and drops were just so strong because there was so
Oh,
much distance to travel generally.
yeah, exactly. And then there was, for some reason, the maps always had like a huge like open space right next to it. Like even though there was like a cliff, there was always like this huge space where you could just drop stuff.
Oh yeah, just
Back
like dead
then,
airspace, you mean?
yeah, just not dead air, but just dead land. Like your like I'll say like your main base would just be so big though, for
True,
some
yeah.
reason.
Yeah, main
And
bases
then you
were
could just sneak.
gigantic.
Yeah. And for some reason, I just sneaking stuff all the time.
Mhm.
So, because like my style back then was like focus on eco at the beginning, like really get it up to speed, and then just keep attacking. Like
Mhm.
be as annoying as I can, and then usually a lot of games I won was like barely just because of Muta, like Muta Micro.
Mm.
Like you used to play a lot of Muta
Oh
Mutalist, and
yeah.
then just kind of like even if I had two, I would just go in and attack. Like just find a place for them to just start attacking, and then that just kind of pisses people off,
Oh
and
yeah.
just they have to bring some of their units and stuff like that to bring it up, like just wasting their like um
Their
basically
APM
their
kind of.
like yeah their APM and then their like brain power to
Oh
kind
yeah.
of
Dude.
fight against that, and they kept like attacking, like flanking and everything. Like
Mm.
I usually never let the player actually attack me. Like I always try to like kill any like reinforcement coming from the back,
Mhm.
and just making sure that when they attack me, it's basically all in, and then I'm already ready for the all in because I know they're gonna have to force an attack on me.
Mm.
So I do a lot of that. It's like some games were just ridiculous in terms of that. It's like I would have just have like two mutas or three mutas just like hitting and
Oh yeah.
killing like a ton of
Oh dude.
workers.
I gotta like interject here because I remember a game where you were coaching me on my Zerg. I think I just wanted to get my Zerg guard, or maybe I was still maining Zerg back then. But like,
You
you,
used to
you
play Zerg.
yeah, you made me make like Mutalisks. And then literally, the entire game, all you said was just be like, dude, be annoying with your mutas, keep being annoying. And I swear to God, he kept killing, like he like killed some mutas, and I had three mutas. Three mutas kill nothing, okay? But you were just like, dude, be annoying, just hit that medevac right there. So it's like, okay, and the opponent like typed in game, dude, that is so annoying. It's like anything you can hit, even if you can't even kill anything, just hit it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't
oh my
matter if
God,
you don't kill anything, as
yeah,
long as you just get annoyed. It's like that one little like small thing on your desk or something that you want to clear off,
yeah,
and it just pisses off because you can't clean off or anything.
yeah.
That's basically mutas in a nutshell. They're just
uh,
annoying and they don't come out.
Dude,
And so,
I felt so bad during that game. I was just like, I'm not
no,
even
don't worry.
doing anything. I was just being annoying. He's like, dude, be annoying, be as annoying as you can. I'm like, okay, dude.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a distraction too,
Yeah,
so that you can like build up. And obviously, Muta for me was like my favorite unit, just because of the fact that like you can have so much air control, and then
hmm,
you can already see them if they're coming for an attack and stuff, and then you can use your Zerglings and
yeah.
your Banelings and just be prepped for the attack.
Hmm.
And oh yes, and back then like people didn't know how to use marine. I mean, spit their marines properly or like really efficiently, so it was just
Yep.
like you just roll down and just kill them.
To this day, when I played Terran, I my not my weakest matchup, but I still have so much trouble with mutas. Historically, mutas have been like my worst hard counter as a unit concept. To this, I don't think I've ever beaten a Zerg that opened two base muta before. And
Oh
and,
really?
and I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I was like recalling stuff like that, and I was kept experimenting with like different kind of reactions to it. And every single time I see two base, like the two base muta opener, I I try to note it down to see what happens, and I have never ever won a game where Zerg opened two base muta. So I keep preaching the Zerg plays, dude, just two base muta counters everything. Yeah, because yeah,
Unless it's like yeah.
I was gonna say just you have so much pressure on the map. Like as you saying, you know, like normally do you have like full scouting information because you're always in their face, you're always annoying, you have full map control. So
Yeah.
you know, since you have so much map control, you're free to just drone behind it and just make more mutas to be even more oppressive, to make more drones, to make more mutas, and it's like okay. And if you move out, then you just make a bajillion banelings, and it's like okay, nice.
Yeah, so that was
It's a
kind of
strong
like
style.
the way like, and my style is like I'd like to take control of the game like from kind of the start, right? And, like
Mhm.
I play for early to mid game, and I personally didn't mind too much about the late game because the late game can change it based on the situation.
Mm.
It's not like okay, kind of kept like a little like leeway for late game, but put all my eco on the mid game and just pressure as much as can
Yeah.
because it stresses people out, right? I could definitely see you getting stressed when I was playing, and then like, and I realized like when you're gonna play sloppy, like when you just let my meteors just start killing, I'm like, oh, he's gonna go for like an all in or something, and just start building a bunch of banelings
Yep.
on a corner.
Pretty
So yeah,
much.
that was kind of the style I played, and it kind
Mm-hmm.
of worked for pretty much my entire career.
Yeah, it was really good too because also Muta's like it was kind of difficult too because like we didn't have any like medevac boosts and stuff like that, so catching medevacs was even easier than before.
Yeah.
And just catching things out of position was like really strong. Um, but yeah, also if I'm not mistaken, you were really good at like ZVZ with like Ling Bane micro control because Ling
Oh,
Bane versus Ling
yeah.
Bane was like literally if you can master Ling Bane, you can be like platinum in all your games. But if you can like Ling Bane properly, you can go like high masters.
Oh, for sure. I linked Bane on against roaches all the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, my macro background was really good. I could definitely say it was probably the best aspect of my like game style,
Mhm.
gameplay at least. Um, but yeah, like I didn't like playing roaches. Roaches were kind of boring to me. Where they were just kind of like standard units where they just kind of group together and then
Mhm.
go forward, right? Um, but yeah, when they started changing the roaches to make it them like upgradable and then like having burrow stuff, that's where I started using it more.
Mhm.
But back then was like Zerling, Banelings, Mutas for most for ZVZs and ZVT like almost all the time, and CVP was kind of like a mix of different strategies based on the Protoss.
Yep.
Protoss had such cost efficient unit, you kind of have to build
Oh,
differently.
dude, I have no idea how Zergs ever survived any Protoss back in Wings of Liberty. Like, you guys had zero tools. You had fungal growth and Roach Hydra. Like, you
Yeah,
had nothing else. Like, oh my god, compared to
uh,
today, there's so many tools that Zerg can actually use that are good.
yeah.
But, like,
So
before it was just like you get lasered down by Colossus, and if you're lucky, you can get a fungal on, you know? It's like the two
yeah,
things.
so the only way to beat Protoss back then was basically get as many bases as I can, go full macro, and then put as many spine crawlers like in front of your base so that you can defend while you're making broodlords and
Yeah,
infestors.
Broodlord
And
Infestor, yeah.
basically, you just have to chip down Protoss until they die.
Yeah.
Back then, because the fact that it was so prominent to have like these death balls,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, like
Yeah.
just ton of Colossus, slap in a few
Like
like
Void Rays
those
and Carriers, yeah.
carriers, like the mothership, and then a sentry. What's it called again? Sentries, eh?
Yeah, Sentry, yeah. And High Templar
Yeah,
probably
sentry,
also.
and then yeah, and basically like basic force field made it unplayable
Yeah.
against Protoss. At least
Yeah.
for my in my opinion, I hated
Oh
force
yeah.
fields. And I was like, it was like counterplay to basically everything I would do.
Yeah, because I mean
Uh,
the maps weren't designed it with the terrain in mind to deal with force fields. So bases were far apart and there was a lot of chokes. And if there's
oh,
chokes in any way, like force fields are amazing.
oh yeah, and back then yeah the main base and like the expansion there was like a long corridor for most
Mm.
of it, and then they just hit they just summoned one sentry and then just put a force field and you basically lost the game from
Yeah,
there. And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
great,
yeah.
what what an interesting game.
It was
But
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Protoss was definitely my worst matchup by far.
Oh really?
I was like,
I thought it was ZVT.
no, ZPT I did pretty well.
Okay.
Like I said, like around the 60 percentile higher. ZVZ was my best
Mhm.
by far. I was just generally really good at it. Like 70%. Like Terran was like 62,
Mm.
63. Protoss was like in the 40s. Like playing against the Protoss, I just prayed they didn't do what like the 6 gateway opening
Mm.
and force fill my like entry.
Yeah.
And like if they didn't know how to play with sentries, I would be like, thank God. It's like, oh, I can actually
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah, the Rams were super exposed to and everything. I remember there was even a talk at some point where people were like, "Dude, you got to make the queen massive because this force field bullshit can't keep happening." Yeah,
And back then queens were not good, so like there was no point of
mm.
like massing queens and like having them transfuse like
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't the
consistently
same.
and to keep it like your team consistent.
Mm.
All you had to roll out was brooches, zerglings, uh, basically an entire game.
Yeah, Roach.
If you
Yeah,
didn't
Roach
decide to
Bin.
do
Yeah,
like a 6 gate opener, if they went for a death ball, it's like hope to God that you could get your brood lords in time to not get killed. So
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
You also mentioned like your macro was like really was probably the best part, and you know you're really fast. And I remember you gave me you told me this, but I don't know why I remember this. Don't ask me why, but you told me that some girl watched you played StarCraft and was like, "Wow, your hands are really fast," or like some weird fucking compliment like that. Or like
Yeah. So
your husbando material because your hands are fast. I remember you telling me
yeah,
this.
it was back 300 APM, 350 was kind of like was pretty good, right?
Hmm.
Like I was averaging a 250, 300.
Hmm.
So like my fingers were fast for my left hand at least.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I had like family members and like friends that came and go while I was playing, and then they keep hearing this click 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 clack clack noise from my mechanical keyboard.
Yeah.
So they were barging my room. Was like, what the hell is this noise? And then you see this little Asian guy, like like tapping like crazy on his keyboard, like he's like smashing it or something.
Yeah.
But then when they realize like, oh, you're actually controlling correctly, like you're actually pressing the buttons that you want to press.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it's like, oh, it's pretty interesting.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Did you
But yeah, that was just kind of a joke, yeah.
I was gonna say like
Uh,
do you press on your keyboard keys really hard? I feel like
I
like
used to have
you were
blues back
fast.
then.
Yeah, you were fast, but you were also I feel like you would press them hard as well, which is probably maybe.
No, it was
No?
back in the keyboard I had was the Black Widow,
Hmm.
which had blues. Blues are extremely loud,
Okay.
in general. So you didn't need to hit them hard, and you would hear that like audible noise already.
Yeah.
I think I pissed off my parents quite a lot playing like at night with
Hmm.
that keyboard, but I guess they forgave me because I didn't get disowned yet, so it's good.
Fair enough. At least you were masters.
Yeah,
Because you were really
exactly. They're
fucking good
like,
at the
ah,
game.
doctor later.
Mm. Um.
The kid. So
So obviously, there was a point where you said you would grind a lot. And I still remember where you said like all you want to do just reach rank 1 masters and then quit the game or something like that.
yeah.
Did you always have like the kind of reach rank 1 or before? Or, like did you have goals or was it just like I want to play all the time?
No, like for me, I'm kind of fueled by goals. Like when I have like objective that I want to hit, like I'm gonna put like 110% into getting that objective. For me, it was like, oh, I want to hit rank 1 master in my division or whatever. So
Mhm.
I would just keep playing until I can hit that. And then when I hit that goal, I'm like uh, fill up the check mark, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna do something else
Yeah.
because I put so much effort into it.
Yeah.
Like I could spend like 16 hours just doing that until I hit that mark, and I was like, oh, my objective is done. Like I don't need to do this anymore. Like
Mm.
I spent so much time and effort and like energy into getting that. And it's like, oh, it's just a little accomplishment. Like, oh, I've done it. Now I could
Mm.
play some other games or just relax. And
Do you still work like that in general, whether it be games or just like coding or whatever? Do you work by
uh,
objective still or?
I still think I'm if I need motivation, then yes, I think I go by goals. Like just hitting a specific goal for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put the amount of effort I need to get to that goal. But now I'm kind of like transitioning like over time and stuff like that. I'm more looking to long-term goals, right? Like I do stuff knowing that in the long term, like it'll benefit me, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of like the trade-off. Like sometimes I would use the goal system that
Mhm.
I kind of use for StarCraft and all the games I played, like hit a specific rank, like get as good enough just to hit that rank and then stop. But
Mhm.
it depends on the kind of stuff that I need to. But in general, yeah, games I would still use that system, but like in real life and like work and stuff like that, I kind of use more of a long term goal system.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So like you mentioned like you kind of annoyed your parents with kind of mechanical keyboards and stuff like that, but and you played a lot. Did you have like any restrictions with games? Like what did your parents kind of think about video games in general? Do you think?
In general, video games, I was basically raised on video games. As
Mm.
long as
As
like
long as
as
you get
long as
good
I'm doing
grades.
good at school,
Yeah.
as long
Yeah.
as I'm doing good at school, and as long as I'm like not being like doing drugs or like
Yeah.
whatever like illegal
Mm.
stuff, like they didn't care. Like the English that I like I'm speaking right now isn't coming from like school or like anything. It's through playing video games,
Mm-hmm.
chatting with people, like communicating, playing with games, and like just self-learn, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they were like, oh, he's learning English and he's also learning how to use computers and stuff like that. It's like, all right, just kind of let him do his thing. Like there weren't major restrictions for me. Back is just like, oh, just don't play at 2 in the morning with so much noise. Like that's
Yeah.
basically the kind of like limitation I had or like the restriction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just don't play with too much noise because like, obviously they're sleeping, they need to work. And it's like I get agreeable, but back then like I wasn't good at school. I was I was just not sleeping. That was the problem.
Yeah,
I
fair
would
enough.
probably spend like 4 or 5 hours and then I just slept at school.
I feel like that's the most reasonable parenting approach in my opinion, right? It's like, well, as it's like he likes something and it's not drugs, so that's good. And as long as he does good at school, then like, let him do kind of like what he likes to do. A lot of parents, like especially my parents, are just kind of like, video games is really
It's
not
bad.
good.
It's
It's
taboo.
it's just
Yeah.
bad for your eyes. It's like you don't get any exercise or like video games are like kind of for more for kids. Like you should probably just let do something else,
Do
something
it
like
or
that.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I get it from like a parent perspective. It's like okay, you just see your kid on a computer. It's like 16 hours a day. And it's like just clacking, talking to random like not be talking to random people, just talking to the computer because they don't know you're talking to some other people, right?
mm-hmm.
They're just like, what the hell is going on? And it's like, this is like detrimental
Mm-hmm.
to the person. It's like you're not moving, you're not doing exercise and all
Yeah,
that. Like I kind of get it in that way. Like now I'm thinking back, uh, right now, like finished school and stuff. I mean, yeah, would have been nice to maybe dial it down a little bit, but then
mm-hmm.
have some like additional social life or like do more exercise and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
understood from that perspective, but
I mean,
back then I was like I was so laser focused in like ranks, getting good at the game, like these objectives, right? And like just in general, like I had a lot of fun time, like talking to you, talking to like our friends, playing the
mm,
game, strategizing. It's
mm,
like would I go back and redo what I've done?
like like if you would have played as much or
Yeah,
yeah,
plays
yeah,
as much or like what would I change
yeah.
like from whatever uh I've done back then. It's like obviously we can't change time, but it's like I would definitely tweaked some part of it.
Mm,
But in general, like the time that I spent with friends playing games was like probably the best time of my high school
oh yeah, for sure.
time, right? Even in college, it was so much fun just playing, talking. It's like you also talk to like strangers and in general have
Mm.
a fun time.
Did you have any other hobbies besides video games? Actually, were you into sports? I don't remember.
Uh, yeah. So my dad actually forced me to do a bunch of sports, squash, tennis, um, just
Mm,
general like swing and stuff. Like
yeah.
I was in high school, I was decently fit while playing the game,
Mm,
so it wasn't that bad. Like I was still doing some physical activity,
mm.
because yeah, for me, like when we finished school, like I would go with my
Oh,
dad, do some exercise for an hour, and then come back, and then I would be able to play games and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely
I,
yeah, it was mostly exercising and playing games, which I still do to this to this day.
hmm I think
So
I just remembered now actually, but I don't know if this started after high school, but you had a tendency to want to be free and go swimming a lot. You know what I mean?
oh
I feel like
yeah,
you were big swimmers. Like, dude, if I swim, I can eat as much junk food as I want, and that was the quote logic that you used.
hey, it worked. I was pretty fit back then.
Yeah, and you only
Um,
ate junk food.
oh
It was
yeah,
so weird.
but to be fair, like I also helped my parents in like the convenience store and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
like, junk food was all I had,
yeah.
man. Okay,
It was your only like
healthy food.
companion.
Smoothies, what is that? All I knew was chocolate milk, chips, and like cookies and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. When did you
But
get
no,
into
like
swimming? Actually, like, how did that happen?
actually, CJIP. Like after like we graduated and stuff like that, I actually had my CJIP had these like courses where like you can choose different like physical activities,
Mm.
and one of them was swimming. And I was like,
Oh,
ah,
okay.
swimming's not too bad. And then I had a friend that came along with me to do it.
Mhm.
So as I started like swimming, I'm like, oh, I realized I actually like doing this,
Mm.
like because like all the other sports, like you get sweaty, like as you're doing the sport, you get
True.
sweaty, you get drenched, and it's just like
True.
you feel disgusted.
Yeah.
Swimming is the opposite. You're just feeling the water,
Oh,
and you feel free.
or you're swimming in sweat. One of those.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
You're taking swimming like sweat and all like
Mm.
the fluid, right? But it's like you don't feel that effect when you're swimming, and obviously you shower after,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
soap yourself and stuff. But
Mhm.
uh, I guess that feeling was really great, and it's also a low impact exercise, so you don't feel like you're sore after
Yeah, for
like a
sure.
long swim. Like definitely, if you go hard, you're gonna feel sore, but you don't feel like you're basically dead the next day.
Hmm.
As like if you're doing like weights or you're doing like a really long run and stuff,
Yeah.
like right now I'm like doing runs and stuff. Like after a run, like I feel like I'm like my legs are shaking
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
like I need to sit down.
Yeah, true. There's no like
Right.
impact or anything. Like
Yeah.
it's super like caloric burning. It's very calorie burn. I don't know what my sentence is, but like it burns a lot of energy, but like it doesn't really like kill your muscles from impact or like
Oh
weightlifting
yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
exactly.
So.
No, because like swimming is decent cardio, and like it's not like
Mhm.
as crazy as like running, but it's like it's good cardio, and you don't feel like you're dying.
Yeah.
I mean, you're dying while you're swimming because you have to hold your breath
Hmm.
once in a while, but like I don't know, it was just a good sport for me in general,
Yeah.
and I still love swimming
Yeah.
to this day. Obviously, with the pandemic and everything, that's a
Hmm.
no go for me. So kind of do alternative exercises in the
Yeah.
meantime. Yeah.
So whenever you do sports, you kind of just do kind of like solo sports, right? So it's like you run and you kind of swim by yourself. Do you have any like routines when you swim, or you just kind of just do what you want? I guess.
Swim, I usually start with like a basic routine, and then like I have like a beginner, intermediate, advanced routine
Mm-hmm.
that I usually follow when I'm doing like some sort of a sport. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm doing swimming and then I just started, like I'm not gonna go intermediate, right? I'll start with the basics, start learning it. When I feel like I'm comfortable and like I can do this like consistently for like 2 to 3 weeks, let's move up a notch and then keep doing that until I hit intermediate. Same thing, intermediate hit to advanced. It's basically how to play a game, right? Like
Yeah.
you start from the level that you got placed on, and then you just keep grinding
Yeah.
until you can hit a higher level.
You've got
And
like
as
these
you're
basically got like these benchmarks that you just kind of try and reach. They're like mini goals, I guess.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, can I can I do like 10 laps in this amount of time? If I can reach that, that means I've gained enough strength and then gained enough like
Yeah.
experience to get to the next level,
Next
right?
level, yeah.
Look at that, right?
Oh,
Real life and video games
yeah.
colliding.
This reminds me of like when I watched this recently for some reason, but it was like Goku training in the gravity chamber, and like he would like train under 20 gravity, and then he was like okay, and then he got used to it, and then he would bump it up to 40, and then he got used to that, and then he bump it up again. It's kind of the same principle, I guess.
That's basically what I do with
Yeah,
sports and esports. Yeah.
yeah. Increase gravity in a pool, dude. Hell yeah, that'd be so sick. Um, so we let a couple of puns through when we're talking about swimming with the freeness that comes from an
Okay.
anime, obviously. Um, were you always like kind of an anime fan? Because I was definitely like more into anime before I got into video games, and then I got into StarCraft. Basically, were you kind of
Uh,
always into anime as well, or how did that
I,
happen?
I think it's just in general like w- back then, like if you were playing video games online, you usually had some other section of stuff that you like to do stuff to do online too. Like, oh,
Yeah,
one basic thing is gamers love to play games and also watch anime.
yeah,
So that kind of was kind of given. Like most of the friends I had was also like anime in some
hmm,
sort of way.
yeah.
Like they might have been like hardcore or like just a casual watcher, but
Hmm.
back then I was definitely pretty heavy into anime, and like I'm pretty relaxed now. I
Did
watch
one
some.
happen before the other, or was it both kind of the same time?
Uh,
Because it was part of like general nerd culture to like both. But was there like did you watch like anime before gaming? Were you always into
I think it has
at
to
the
be
same time?
anime before, because I remember when I was like 5, I used to watch One Piece when it first came out.
And you still do.
Crazy. It's been 20 years. It's still going. I
Alright.
haven't watched any more of it. Like I just
Oh
can't.
really? Oh
I
okay,
can't
okay, okay.
watch like 1,000 episodes of
Okay.
One Piece. But
I thought you were
I
up to
still,
date like week per week actually, but
oh
I guess
no,
maybe
there's
not.
just no way.
Maybe that was 5 years ago, but I don't know.
I haven't watched it in 10 years. So
Oh really?
it's
Oh,
been a
okay,
really
okay,
long
okay.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching when I was like 5, 6,
Mhm.
because my brother was also pretty into anime back then, and he would like download like shows for us to watch. And as an Asian
Mhm.
kid, like watching Dragon Ball Z and like yeah, yeah, Dragon Ball Z and like some other animes like One Piece, like
Mhm.
what's it called, Inuyasha. That was another good one.
Yeah.
Uh, like Sakura, Cardcaptor, Cardcaptor Sakura,
Mhm.
and like Sailor Moon, stuff like that. Like I've watched all of that.
Yeah.
So for me, I definitely, from like an Asian perspective, like Asian culture, like anime is kind of something that you kind of watch
Yeah, yeah, it's
as you grow up,
yeah.
and also I don't know, that I kind of followed up as with gaming as two hobbies that are kind of similar in terms of like it's all done online.
Yeah.
Like back then, no one, like 10 years ago, anime was like uncool. Like if you said you liked anime, people would give you like really weird looks.
Yeah. And then if you like anime and you were a nerd gamer, it's like,
Oh
well
man,
then,
dude, it
I'm
was
sorry, but
terrible.
you might never see a
All the
female
jocks would
without
be,
a clothes in
yeah.
your life. I'm sorry.
And like the jocks would like back then, like jocks were like the cool kids and stuff like that. But now I definitely seen like throughout the years, like people are accepting anime way more,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I can now say like, oh, I've watched some anime, and then people won't bat an eye over it. It's like, oh, cool. It's like, oh, which show did you watch,
Mhm.
right? Kind of stuff. So definitely from like Netflix, Crunchyroll, and all the definitely streaming service that really helped out. Like and like people were
Mhm.
just opening it up as something that is not always weird. Because back then, when people thought about anime, they thought about it being weird tentacles or like some other
all
weird stuff they
anime,
saw.
all anime is hentai. Jeez.
Pretty much at this point, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, girls with like really huge like
Yes.
breasts and stuff like that. It's just like
Oh
panty shots
man.
all the time. Back then it was really ridiculous. Back when I was
Honestly,
thinking, I was like, holy crap, how did I even watch this without like being phased by it? Because it was just everywhere, right? Back then.
true. It's still kind
Um,
of the case where like a lot of like female characters have still big boobs, but like I remember one of my like first serious girlfriends, she didn't really know what anime it was that much, and she actually bought into the stereotype that like she thought it was kind of weird when I watched anime because she was afraid I was just like looking at female characters that just had huge boobs all the time, and I was like, dude, that's not the case. It happens, but it's not the case. Like it's like
depends
that's
on
the
the series.
stereotype. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I proceeded to watch High School of the Dead.
Oh my god, you ruined yourself
I
basically.
ruined my own self. Yeah, true.
But yeah, but like I've never been really into that kind of show. Like I really like watching shonens and like
Yeah, yeah.
it's more of like mature animes and stuff like that. So
Yeah, you watch Free. That's very mature.
okay, hey, I was learning for educational purposes. Okay, they
Mhm.
had different swimming position. I was trying to learn them. Come on.
Yes. Of course.
There were some muscular guys. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you start swimming, like seeing a guy half naked, it's just like it's standard. You'll
Yeah, yeah,
see
yeah, it's pretty
a
standard.
bunch
Yeah.
of guys.
Sure, for sure.
So, but yeah, anime definitely. Yeah, from your question, yeah, definitely anime first and then
Hmm.
gaming after.
Yeah.
But
But
they
I,
kind of intertwine for
yeah,
me. Yeah.
it kind of like you said, it's like, of course, you kind of get into anime first because, like, with the quote unquote white kids, we just get cartoons, right? And then we kind of
Yeah.
transition to anime, but you guys just, your first cartoons is anime, literally. And just the fact
Exactly.
that the world of, like, geek and nerd culture is just basically just anime and video games generally, that just, it leads to another, like, most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you've got people that are into anime but like don't really play video games and vice versa. But
yeah, back then, like when you were a geek, you're kind of a geek of like quite a lot of stuff, right?
yes.
Like it wasn't just your specific one thing, but now everyone's like more specialized into one
Yeah,
thing.
we've got specialized nerds.
Like, it's
Amazing.
on the YouTube videos that they were like microscopic into like these specific like topics about like a show or whatever. I'm like, holy crap, how how is this guy a nerd of one show, but then for some other series he would know like nothing about it, right?
Hmm.
So like I kind of get it. There's so much series back there. Like when I was looking at like the anime season,
Mhm.
uh, there's like 50 now. Back then there
Yeah.
was like five.
Yeah. So,
Like
so you had time for that and video games, right? Now it's
yeah,
like, dude,
exactly.
if you were full time watching anime, you couldn't even get through it.
Holy
Honestly.
crap!
Yeah.
Like one of the YouTubers that like I watch was like Gigik and stuff. Like he does it. He works like as like a YouTuber and like reviews anime, and he can't finish watching all 50 whatever season
Yeah.
show per season. Like if he can't do it and he's a full timer, like how would I, as a
Yeah.
like a normal person, would watch that much?
Oh
Right?
my
But
god.
back then there was like only 5 shows or less that
Mhm.
people really watched,
Mhm.
and then you kind of like can discuss and then like
Yeah.
can get up to date to it, right?
Mhm.
Like one of them was like One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto. Like there wasn't that many shows back then. It
Mhm.
was probably like top three, and then there was like a few other shows that came on like every few seasons. So
Yeah.
I can definitely see it growing.
I feel like it's almost the
But
I feel like it almost went the opposite way with gaming a little bit. Where before, like if you had a if you just went from household to household, like the games that like kids or like people would play would be just random and varied. But now it's like most people that are like they probably play one of the main esports at least, and then the rest might be other games. But like we have a lot more games like in common now than I feel like before. Before it was just like you just had random games on
oh yeah, oh yeah,
bajillion consoles and but now it's kind of like more narrowed down to like you've got some
yeah,
games but you probably play one of the esport games as well.
yeah. So
It's like
I
yeah.
would say today with like Twitch as like your one of the main like
Mm-hmm.
streaming services and like having um like different I mean different companies owning the same kind of game like or like games that are kind of in the general like genre like battle royales and like MOBAs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna just choose like in between those games. Like especially if it's Twitch, you kind of when you browse for the first time, you kind of check, okay, what's like the top 10 game that people are watching.
Yeah.
It's usually always the same game, always usually esports.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of like know by just by looking that these are the top 10 games that people are playing, and you tend as like a new player or just a new person to games to pick the top 10.
Yeah, because
You
like
won't just go into obscure like 69
yeah,
game.
the communities are just so much larger, right? But yeah, it's like before when you would talk about anime, it's like you can probably talk about this anime and people also watching. You can have a conversation. Now there's like a bajillion animes and people that have super niche like communities.
Yeah,
But now it's I feel like it's almost the opposite. You know, like with games now is like even if you talk to any gamer, like you're probably going to be able to talk to them either about like StarCraft or League or like Rocket League or you're going to be able to talk to them about World of Warcraft. Like one of these top 10 you can definitely have a conversation with them with, right? It's
yeah.
like
It's
somewhere you could yeah, you can just have a conversation with one of those games 100%. Like they have to have all of those in common, like at least one of them.
oh, yeah, for sure. Like if you play the game, you tend to play with friends as well. So like usually your friends will recommend you the top games to play, and then you'll try it out, right?
Mm.
And it's like kind of like yeah, friends, like streaming services, like just people kind of aggregating to the bigger games,
Mm.
kind of. So you have a higher chance of having someone that plays like on a League or
Yeah.
StarCraft or whatever
Yeah.
than someone playing on a like a anime game came out in 2010 or something like
yeah,
that,
yeah, it's just too
right?
niche, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like, I guess we've gone a lot of way out of StarCraft, but that happens a lot in these podcasts actually. But
Oh, really? Yeah.
yeah. But do you have any like favorite StarCraft memories generally? I don't even know how to phrase this question. I have this question in front of me, but I don't know how to like rephrase it. Do you have a general StarCraft memory that comes to mind, or is a favorite memory?
Favorite memory? Like a decent amount of memories, but I definitely think of the trip that we did in New Brunswick
Yeah,
when we drove to
when you
boss's house, and
when you drove.
yeah, when I drove, but you guys tagged along.
True.
Um, yeah, the like 10. Oh my god, it's like 10-hour drive. Go to his
Mhm.
house, set up our computers, and just game for a week, right? Just
Mhm.
eat junk food, like just play so much StarCraft, play other games too, right? We never just only played StarCraft, which is
Yeah, I
fine.
mean we needed breaks, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, breaks, but like just having that environment. It's like, hey, should have a physical people playing the game as well, and we can talk about the game.
Yeah. You just
And
turn around. What are you playing? I'm playing Game Dev Tycoon. Oh, can I
yeah, yeah,
play? And then it's like, yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that LAN aspect was really fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I, fe-
that's probably
I
the most like
was.
memorable experience. But like even when me and you were just playing at my house and stuff like that, it was
Oh,
really fun.
true. Oh, oh, dude, there was something so disgusting I used to do, and I would do it again, but um,
Okay.
so I,
What was this disgusting thing you were
so
talking
so
about? Yeah.
one of the memories that I do remember is that you live next to this guy called Leonard, right?
Yeah, yeah, Leonard.
So
Yeah.
he would come in and land as well. So what we would do is that we'd set up like 3 people in like this very small room with like different
Oh yeah, my
laptops and
room. Yes.
computers, and you guys would play Diablo 3, and I would play like StarCraft, and I would literally just eat like bacon strips on the side.
Oh my God. Yes, I
That,
remember
that
now.
was horrible,
Yeah,
dude.
like I brought chips. I brought like I don't know, like sodas and
Yeah.
stuff. You brought like bacon strips. I was like, oh,
No, they were
do that
frozen,
thing.
and they were just frozen that and that they were like pre-cooked frozen, right? And I would just eat like pre-cooked frozen bacon strips, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was one of the things
that
I
was
remember.
being kid man back then.
Hell
Like
yeah,
I don't eat junk food that much anymore too, but like,
yeah.
my God, no, like I got all out of my system.
Fair enough. But yeah, going back to the land real quick, that was probably the experience probably in my life where I've never felt like nothing else matters. Like we're literally just in a room. There's literally no worries in the world right now. It's just the
Yeah,
friends. We eat junk food, eat whatever
yeah,
we want. We can just play
yeah.
video games all day. There's no responsibilities or anything. That was probably one of the most liberating weeks ever in my life,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
for sure. Like no one judges each other for playing games or like
Yeah.
doing anything. Like we all are in the same boat. We were all enjoying ourselves. We were all doing different things as well, right?
Mhm.
Like there's times where like me and someone else were watching some like anime or something like that, and you were playing, or like we were just talk about the game, strategize like how to get better, like
Yeah.
what can you do from this match that you lost, and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
just a lot of fun. Like for me, I think that was the aspect that I love about playing games is
Mhm.
just communicating and then just having a blast with some other players. Right? It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, we're both struggling or like we're both trying to overcome something, so let's uh meet up, like just play the game, let's watch it together,
Yeah.
let's try to see what the issue is, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the aspect I like, the social aspect of playing games.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and that is still something that I look for when I play a game, right? Like I I can play some single player games, but like there's something missing when I'm playing like a single player game, and that's probably the aspect, like
Yeah.
enjoying the game with other people.
I mean, even if like right now we actually whenever we play games we tend to go on Discord a lot. There's a lot of voice, but there was something very very unique about like being in the same room as people and like LANing, which we don't really do anywhere just because like online tends to be really good and we just use Discord.
Yeah,
But like setting up LANs too is very complicated because you need like a lot of tables, you need to bring your computer and stuff like that. We just don't
yeah,
really do that anymore.
wired.
We just play online and stuff like that and just go on Discord or whatever. But like yeah, just being in the same room, just having all the computers and just
Yeah, but
that was just
that
awesome.
was an experience I wanted to do at some point. Like those like huge LAN tournaments and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Which is odd because like I've been playing esports games and
Yep.
like games for my entire life, but I never went to one of those conventions yet.
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious to like
Oh wait, you've never been
go
to a LAN event? Like you never went to LAN ETS?
no like Dream Hacker and
Oh,
thing. Like
DreamHack, yeah,
I
yeah.
went to like small local lands, but I never went to like a
Mhm.
major like you buy a ticket and you have it for
Yeah.
like 3 days or whatever.
Yep.
Like I never got a chance because I was obviously like finishing school. Like
Mhm.
basically I was in school for like the last like decade until I just graduated last year. So,
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah,
but yeah, that was something I would love to do, but like I haven't gotten to play much games
mm,
lately. I'm trying to
yeah,
pick up like a game or two
yeah.
just to play and then be able to watch the game and enjoy it with some other people. You know?
Yeah, but even if you did go to LAN, there's two big differences. One, even if you LAN at these centers, it's like sure you can try and get some spot next to your friends, but like it's just a huge kind of gaming like convention, whereas that was just like just us, literally.
Yeah,
And
like we
but
knew each other.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, but also we had a week. Like these events are normally weekend things, but we had like a
Okay.
full week, right? That was like extra
Yeah, that
extra
was
crazy, yeah.
extra.
We had so much time to burn, dude. I remember we first of all we literally drank like 6 liters of Dr Pepper every day. It was so stupid. It was
Oh my god.
actually retarded. But
We were like 16 back
yeah.
then. Like I would.
But you can one of the things I also remember, we this was at the time 2010. This is when Civ 5 came out as well. And
Oh yeah. You
and
guys
and
were pretty
Nicholas was
into it.
playing Civ 5 and I was like, "Huh, maybe I can play Civ 5 as well." So I started playing a game and you all went to sleep and I played Civ 5 for 28 hours straight. And you came in the next day, it's like, "Oh, dude, you woke up early." It's like, "Dude, I'm still playing Civ 5."
Yeah, because my room was literally the room right next to the LAN like room.
Mhm,
I slept basically right next to it,
mhm.
and then I was like so tired because there was a day where we did like a all night, and I'm
Yeah, we pulled an
so
all-nighter,
tired.
yeah.
I don't remember what we did, but
Yeah.
we did something
Mhm.
because part of my memory was gone because I couldn't remember what we were
We're
doing
just
back
too
then. I was so
past out.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Honestly, like that was probably favorite StarCraft experience for me was that LAN. It
yeah.
was
Oh,
it was just fun in general.
we
Yeah.
we we money matched too. You 3-0'd me. I gave you $20.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I think it was a best of 5, and I think I played 2 games and forfeited the third one. Maybe. I
Oh
re-
yeah, you were
all
pissed at
all
some
I
point.
remember is that I was pissed at the end, and I threw the $20 at you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
I
can't remember
remember.
if I forfeited the last game or if I just went
Yeah, you
fuck it.
you pretty much forfeited at this
Yeah.
point. But
But
to
I
be fair, you were
yeah.
kind of playing against a guy that was like a few ranks higher than
Yeah,
you,
but at the
right?
same time, you were so rusty, and I was pretty confident at the time too, because you were like high diamond. I was platinum at the time, but like you were insanely rusty, and I was like, okay, maybe I can take some games. And then you ended up 3-0ing me because if we had done it the first day that we were landing, I think I might
Yeah.
have done it. But we money matched around the end of that week, so you were
Oh
fully
yeah,
fucking back into it. You destroyed me.
yeah.
Um, yeah, whenever you like take a break, it tends to go well. I think I beat you twice. There was one time I won 4-1 at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. You didn't even know
Yeah.
what Widow Mines were. So that's when I beat
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah,
You had
yeah.
no idea what Widow Mines you were, and you were like, "What the fuck is this?" And I won 4-1. And then the other one was like at the end of maybe of Heart of the Swarm. I won 3-2.
Oh
But
nice.
the last game I won because it was a bullshit map that you had never played before and I'd played. It was just a custom map that I saw someone post on like TL.net, and I was like, let's play on this and the last map, and I won because it was not very Zerg favored at all. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, that was like
So no,
that was the only
you were
times I remember beating you. Besides that, you destroyed me so hard.
yeah.
Yeah,
But to be fair, you played way more consistently than I did, right? Like you're a trooper. You
and
you still play to this day, right?
yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
played in many years, many moons.
yeah. Many
Uh,
moons. Okay. Yeah.
no, but like I kind of hop from game to game, and then I kind of get good at that game, and then
Yeah.
kind of retire the other game while I was playing.
Yeah.
It's just based on like what's popular and what my friends are playing at that
Yeah.
time, right? And no, you stuck to it, and I think you're master right now, right?
Yeah, yeah, master. I
So
actually,
like,
I still don't. I play maybe less than maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, I still play pretty regularly. But like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I was more like, I played a little bit more during the second half. You were like way more hardcore in the beginning as well.
oh yeah,
Obviously, but wait, hold on, where was going with this? It was shit. I forgot my train of thought. Rip. But wait, what were we talking about? It
turn
was
back what?
it's just the amount of we were
Okay.
playing. Where was I going with this? I just forgot what I was going with that. But yeah,
Uh,
fuck it.
so something that consistently you played, yeah, for 10 years you still play to this day, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
crazy in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, right. What I was gonna say is, thanks for reminding me. So what I was gonna say is, yeah. I mean, especially now that you kind of hop from game to game, that kind of just goes with the general kind of mentality of where we were at the time. Like whenever you're in high school, that's the time where you try to get good at stuff. But now that you
Yeah.
actually are good at stuff, you can kind of just jump from game to game and actually enjoy life for once. Like,
Ah, no, I did
I
not
don't
enjoy.
know.
I was playing a League back, yeah, uh,
Mm.
League after StarCraft, right?
Didn't you
And
play
that,
League competitively too at some point,
yeah, I
or like
played League competitive.
in CJEP maybe, or?
Yeah, I played. Um, I was playing collegiate League
Hmm.
back then. I was like mid to like mid diamond
Mhm.
in League. So that was the most like skillful in our team, and we would play like a collegiate tournament.
Hmm.
That killed all my time in university, like
Oh yeah.
studying for becoming an engineer and also playing like 30
Yeah.
hours to 40
Cause
hours
you
every.
cause you were the leader, right? You called the
Yeah,
shots. You called the shots. So
yeah,
like you had like
exactly.
kind of a responsibility also to just be good and be on top of like what you
Yeah,
should do.
exactly. So I had to be good, be on top of my game, also coordinating
Mm.
like my teams to like, oh, when do we scrim, when do we play matches,
Yeah. So that was yeah big time
stuff like that.
investment.
It was crazy back then. Like it took that year was really stressful for me. Honestly, it was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of workload that
Mm.
I I took. Like I wasn't when I started playing that collegiate, I wasn't intended to be team leader. I was just intended to be like
Yeah.
that a backbone consistent player
Yeah. I
that can do whatever that's needed to be for the team. But then obviously stuff didn't work out at the beginning, and
yep.
then like I was like, okay, you know what? Let's pick up the pace, and then I just
Yep.
started doing the shots.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this where you were like, you were just playing and people would just kind of do their thing, and then you would just generally communicate, and then you would lose all the time, and then you told me, dude, okay, I'm gonna call the shots, and then you started calling the shots, and you fucking destroyed everybody. Like, apparently that's what happened, yeah.
So I don't know if you want that in your podcast about League, which your podcast is about StarCraft.
I mean, I've talked about League in this podcast before. Don't worry about it. I talk about gaming in general, I guess. It's just that
Oh,
StarCraft tends to be a part of that journey in ways.
okay, well,
Yeah.
we have some StarCraft, but I'll just do like a quick summary based on the League experience I had. Like, so I was in the collegiate team for my university, and we played. So it's this like huge tournament that lasts the entire like year,
Mhm.
and basically every week you played a match against a different university,
Mhm.
and so and then after a while you'll get your final ranking, and then you can play the playoffs and then the finals. So basically, the first 7 matches we played, we've lost every match. We lost, so it's a best of 3 every
Mhm.
match, and we lost all of them.
Mhm.
0-2.
Mm.
So
Oof.
we're basically 0-14 in this the university
Okay.
match. We're basically next game we lost, we were out, and
Yeah.
we were basically the bottom tier team. Like people were just like laughing at us at this point. Like,
Yeah.
wow, these guys are kind of bad. But the problem is like when we were losing, we were not losing because we were just straight out get stomped. We lost because we had like 10k gold lead and we had no direction, and we just lost at the end.
Yeah.
Every match was always the same. It's like we're kicking their ass super bad in the early mid game. Like we were just controlling game, and then we're like, now what? We didn't have a leader, right? So we were
Mm.
just like, oh, what do we do now? Do we just keep playing what we're doing and then let them scale and then just destroy us?
Mm.
So that's kind of what happened. And then yeah, I kind of got annoyed by that. It's like, oh my god, no one's like, people were communicating okayly, but like
It was
we
like
need
it was just
like
like
a single
general.
voice.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
general communication. Like, oh, he's in river. Like, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like my teamers were amazing in terms of like their performance and stuff like that. It's just that we didn't have like a voice to be like, hey guys, let's bring it up, let's wrap up the game, or let's go for the strategy or whatever.
Mhm.
So I kind of just like, you know what, we're losing 0-14. I'm just gonna pick up the pace and like, hey, it doesn't matter if we're losing. This is the last match. Like if we lose, whatever, like we'll just disband and stuff. But yeah, I picked up the kind of like the responsibility, and that was kind of like
Mm.
towards mid year, mid of the, yeah.
Were you like kind of elected, or did you just kind of
No,
step it up by yourself? Yeah.
I just stepped over myself. I was like, hey guys, like I know we're losing a lot. Let's try something new. I'm gonna try to do some calls. And let's focus on. And then we kind of redistribute the resources after looking at how we played.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, well, me and this guy, we tend to be really strong in the early and the mid game, and we can really carry the game towards the late game, and then you guys can start working on your late game, and then basically carry us towards the end for
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
So basically, we shift the kind of the resources that how we want to play. We increase how we communicate it, and we focus like who to give all the resources to at specific points of the game.
Mhm.
and kind of just follow a game plan. Like I just kind of like describe like the game plan and like what kind of composition that we want to play,
Mhm.
and then we just followed through that like 100%. Like my teammates were not like going against me
Mhm.
for any of the actions. Like if I'd made a bad call, they would be like my bad call, and then no one's gonna be like offended about it and like argue about it. It'll be like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, it's okay, man. Like let's go for the next play.
Yeah.
And we just kept doing that, and
Yeah.
so we went from 0-14 and we went 14-14. So we won
Oh my
every game
god,
after.
Jesus. Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Like I mentioned, like we weren't bad players. We just like we were getting 10k gold leads every match. We just couldn't close the game ever.
Yeah.
So we had 14-14. We got to playoffs, and then there was like I don't remember the exact number, but it's like 128 university that
Mhm.
played
Mhm.
or something more. But like we got to the top 8 at that point, and then obviously top 8, and we were playing with U.S. universities, and so our like final exams were started before them. So we kind of took that ultimate decision. It's like, hey, like grades and like your like student like performance is way more important than playing a game. So we just like, okay, we won't practice for the week and a half. You guys just do your exams, right? Like
Mhm.
study it, like actually like get good grades at it, and then we'll just play the match. And then so we lost that match.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, top 8 from going 0-14.
Dude, that's insane actually.
That was a
True.
pretty good run in my opinion, and we still talk about it.
Mm.
Like sometimes I still talk to some of my teammates back then. It's like, hey man, fucking miracle
A
run
miracle
of the
run, yeah.
Centura. Like
True.
literally 0-14 last match before we get kicked off, and then we just climb it back up, right?
Mm.
And but yeah,
Yeah. It's like the equivalent of like whenever you're like playing a StarCraft game, it's like you've got like a really good macro and you don't really have a build, or you don't really have like a specific objective with an open or stuff like that. You just kind of macro a lot and you just don't know when to attack and like what to do, and then
yeah.
eventually it's just like you die. Yeah.
Basically, that was us, but in a team game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um I mean, yeah, you used to call the shots in StarCraft. Now you can just call the shots
Yeah,
with
yeah, for
people
sure.
of the game.
So
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that we always see the map as a whole, so we're just so used to calling shots in general, just because like we got a mini map, we got all these objectives, and we know it's like, okay, we got to go for this, and then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I definitely always had like a leadership position in all the games I played. Like,
Mm.
like I was mentioning the Warcraft thing, the whole clan leader.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
literally
I was like,
dethroned the leader. Jesus.
oh yeah, I'm 13. Yeah, I'm just a kid, but here, do these things.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that Counter Strike, I used to shot call there,
Hmm.
called shots on StarCraft, called shots on League, like,
Mm.
and
Until eventually you became the synergist and you didn't have to talk, and then you were both just one being.
yeah, exactly. We fused together, but that was a special bond though. That was like, because we played so many games together. That was the difference. Like I've never played with someone for so long
Mhm.
that it just like something clicked in my mind at least, that I didn't need to talk to them about anything. I just popped music in and just played.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty dope.
It's like yeah.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, like
Um, I was gonna say, like, just to kind of start wrapping up because we're at an hour 23. But like,
yeah.
there was to be like StarCraft 3 or Warcraft 4 or whatever, is there like something that would bring you back to playing that a lot, or will you always be kind of a nomad gamer from here?
Nomad gamer. What
As
do you
in,
mean by?
as in, like you travel from game to game and you just
Oh,
kind of
a
go with it.
nomad. I thought nomad like not being pissed off at the
Oh
game.
yeah, sorry. What?
I was like, what?
Okay. Yeah.
I,
No.
nah, I definitely get pissed off once in a while, but
Mm.
if it does come, like I'll definitely try it. Right?
Mhm.
Like maybe I'm at a part of my like part of my life where I'm like more focused on my career and stuff like that. But I still
Mm.
love playing game. For me, I still watch games while I'm like doing other stuff. Like I still
Mhm.
watch esports. Sometimes I'll watch StarCraft. Sometimes I watch League. Sometimes I watch CS
Mhm.
or whatever. Like I enjoy watching games as a perspective. I mean, like as a
Spectator. Yeah.
viewer. Yeah. basically.
Hmm.
But if StarCraft 3 ever comes out, or Warcraft 4, or any RTS that seems really interesting, or any other game, I'm down to play. I'm down to play. If it's really fun, I'll definitely pick it up and try to get better at it.
Yeah, but have you lost that mentality, exactly part of your life where it's like you get one game and then you get really really good at it or drill it, or is it just like you're gonna play StarCraft 3 slash Warcraft 4 because like, oh, it's a new game, looks fun, I'm gonna try it out and stuff like that? Do you think you would still have that kind of drive to drill and get better at something, or are those
Um,
days kind of behind you?
no, I could see it still happening. It's just I need people to also join me in these kind of game. Like,
Hmm.
I don't like playing the game by myself. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
well, I'm kind of isolated and I have no one to talk about it. Right? Like,
yeah,
the thing I like about playing multiplayer games is the play. I mean, playing with some other people, right?
sure, yeah,
That part of it. So like, I'll probably, if I had to just play it by myself, I'll probably just play it for fun, like do the campaign and
yeah.
just like enjoy the game for what it is. But if I want to really get into the multiplayer game and start grinding games, then I definitely have to have some sort of a motivation or have
Yeah.
other people play with me.
I mean, that's kind of the reason. That's kind of what happened at the beginning of Wings, right? It's just everybody was kind of into StarCraft, and that just got you so hyped to learn and get so much better at it, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were,
Yeah.
I still remember in class we would just talk about it like consistently.
Hmm.
It's like, hey man, do you know about this strategy? Do you know what this unit does and stuff like that? So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's that aspect. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to be down to
Wh-
do that again.
yeah, which is less likely because now we're not in school anymore, so you can't just have like classmates that just so happen to all play the same game as you, and you can kind of nerd about it all the time. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, having friends like playing the same game as you is like actually one of the most motivating things to get better and just be passionate about the game, which actually just literally carried me. Like the first 5 years of StarCraft has been so motivating because of like you and I'll just call
Yeah.
him Savior and
See, call me by literally every other name.
yeah, boss, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
And Madden and everything like that. That I was like, okay, well, like this was such a strong start, strong like first 4 or 5 years that it just carried me and literally to what I am like today. Now I do podcasts, I do like YouTube analysis videos, dude, I did StarCraft trivia videos. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think you mentioned about it, and I was like, oh, cool.
Dude, I just do so much StarCraft shit right now. I got so hard carried by my friends loving StarCraft as well at the beginning that I just still enjoy it to this day because I just got so
Yeah,
deep into it. So I
yeah,
totally feel that like if there was a StarCraft 3 or like a new game, like if all of us are down to just get into it, yeah, that would be pretty dope.
yeah. That's crazy because I remember when we were playing, like, you were making custom maps, you were building like these, like different like
Oh, dude,
spreadsheets and stuff like that. Yeah.
we I still have those custom maps on BattleNet. I actually, all the names were, out of all the people in the Monoxide or Kitty committee. And
Mhm.
funnily enough, we were playing custom games with the Quebec community, and it was a
Yeah.
night where I hosted. And one of the guys was like, "Dude, can we just play on all your custom maps?" I'm like, "Dude, these maps are like 7 years old," and he's just like, "I don't care." So there was a map that was actually a really epic game, and it was on your map, Praising Sun.
Oh yes.
Because you would always have the avatar like praise the sun, so I made a beach map because you loved Belshire Beach, and then
Yep.
I made a beach map called Praising Sun, and then we played on that. So it's funny you mentioned the custom maps.
Solaire is still my man. He
Hell
he
yeah.
is
That's from Dark Souls,
he's
right?
praises him. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the most wholesome, jolly guy you can ever have in your life.
yeah. I'm sure.
Like, he's the one that's gonna pump you up, like motivate you, hype you up. That's the person I want to be.
Fair enough. Yeah. Nice.
In
Um,
the darkest moment, there's always a guy that is grossly incandescent.
praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
Damn, dude. All right. Any closing thoughts about StarCraft as a whole? I don't know.
So, I
Um,
hope there's a StarCraft 3. I want to be in a generation where that game comes out, and I want it to be a really good game where South Korea can make it their national esports again.
True.
That would be amazing.
Just then you like hopefully there's a new StarCraft for your son, so you can tell them stop playing video
Exactly.
games and go outside. or
Exactly. I wanted him to raise into becoming the next Bong Joie
yes,
of StarCraft 3.
the next Dong.
the, the next Flash.
Hell yeah.
So
Either
yeah,
that, well, he's gonna have a choice. Either you be the next Flash, or you be Doctor. That's one of those.
or both. It
Or
reminds me of, like
both?
one of
Oh my god. Yeah, you guys,
uh,
yeah, Asians don't compromise. It's like it's not.
yeah, exactly. Like there was a post on like Reddit where I read there was like this Korean guy that's like 33,
Mhm.
and he was like some sort of like Navy SEAL sniper, like highly ranked lieutenant.
Mhm.
He also was a doctor, and now he became a astronaut at 32, and he has a family. I'm just like, this is a like an Asian parent's wet dream. And
Dude, all he has left to do is be a lawyer. Honestly.
he could literally be a lawyer on the side.
Oh yeah,
Like, if he became a doctor,
he'll be a space lawyer, literally.
oh yeah, for sure. Well, he is a space
Egg,
doctor sniper, so
egg. Jesus.
I already feel inferior to him.
Oh my god, yeah, true.
So yeah, I'm
He's-
pretty sure his parents are still not satisfied with him.
Yeah.
Like, you're a doctor, why not be a space doctor Tesla guy or whatever?
Mm.
But
Actually, kind of on that note, we can kind of end on this, I guess. But there was actually a lot of times on these podcasts where I heard kids, not kids. What am I talking about? Where I hear the guests saying that as a kid they would play with like their dad or their parents a lot, which is something like I couldn't even fucking fathom. Is playing video games something that you feel like maybe doing with like other parts of your family? Like, do you think you'll be playing like introduce games to like your kids, or is it just gonna be like kind of a free flow thing?
I
Maybe?
definitely would I mean, I'll introduce them, but if they want to
Yeah.
get into it, like I wouldn't oppose. Like
Yeah.
I love playing games. I played games for basically my entire life, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like there is some good and some bad to it,
Mhm.
but mostly positive stuff for it. And I definitely encourage my future kids
Mhm.
to yeah definitely play games, but like don't go crazy on it. Don't make it like they say if you're gonna be like the top player and gonna win millions of dollars or whatever, like sure, whatever, go for it. But like if you're just like a normal person and you're playing a lot of games, like okay, as long as it doesn't deteriorate the rest of your life,
Yeah.
I have no problem. Like
Yeah. It's gonna be the same general rules as your parents. Like you can play video games, just be good in school, I guess, or
yeah, be good in school, be healthy,
yeah, be healthy. Yeah.
like learn some social like behaviors. That's fine. Just go crazy on your games, and don't be a dick and don't
Yeah.
do illegal stuff. And we're okay.
Yeah, don't do illegal stuff. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much, SYNergist, aka Zen, aka Lazy Days, for
Yeah.
coming on to the podcast, and I hope to see you soon. Actually, I'm gonna go play. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say this on this StarCraft podcast. I'll say this after.
Oh, how dare you!
I'm about to say something very non-StarCraft related that
Oh,
could
no.
trigger people. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell the last stream. All right. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you.
See you, man.